Okay, so I hesitated to do this video because it's a little dark. What I'm trying to accomplish here is to actually document and show what real raw emotional sentiment is to the destruction that Putin has unleashed on Ukraine. I am not trying to just, uh, you know, pump out negativity into the atmosphere or something along those lines. I put onto my community tab, October 7th is Putin's birthday. Without using profanity, please, what would you like to communicate to him on his birthday? Now, on somebody's birthday, you generally communicate positive sentiments. And I thought, well, clearly there's not going to be a lot of that. So what would people want to say? What emotions are invoked? What do they want him to understand? Now, obviously, I'm not delivering this to Putin. I have no means of doing that, but I thought some of the comments were instructive, and I'm only going to go through a handful here and try to give you a sense of what's going on or how people have considered this. When you finally go to your grave, the world will have a shout of happiness like one never seen before, and the souls of your victims another one of joy and revenge. Enjoy your birthday if you can. I thought, wow. I mean, that was the first one that I read, and as I read that, I was reminded of the joke that was circulating for a while here. Putin consults with a fortune teller. Fortune teller predicted that Putin would die on a Ukrainian holiday, and Putin asked on which one. He said the fortune teller responded, "Whenever you die, it will be a Ukrainian holiday." Like that's the sentiment that is there within Ukraine. And Putin thought that he was going to be welcomed with flowers and that people would just turn from Ukraine and join Russia, and that's how the war was going to go down, the special military operation. But it didn't really work out that way. I want him to be able to feel empathy with the people he hurt. Catch that? I mean, they want them to feel the same, like, look what you've done to us. And then I want him to live 20,000 years in shame. Like, it's a pretty powerful emotion. What goes around comes around. Another one, Kerch Bridge on fire, your defense is terrified, just like last year, only this time finish the thing off. Remember, the first time the Kerch was hit was the day after Putin's birthday last year. I honestly tried, but profanity is all that erupts in my mind when I think about Putin. Like, you can feel the emotion in those words, can't you? Like you can recognize, and I'm not judging a person either because I get it. I like it's hard to think nice thoughts of someone who's done so bad. And I'm not trying to get you to say nice things about Putin. That wasn't the point. But the point was just to like tap into what would you really want to communicate. In honor of this weekend's festival, I would simply repeat John Sweeney's request, VPDFO. So I had to look up what that was. I know who John Sweeney is. He's a journalist. VP Vladimir Putin do blank off. So you can figure that out here, and I'll even show you this. This is John Sweeney, Under Deadly Skies, Ukraine's Eastern Front. Our film on Russia's evil war is now available on demand. If you watch it, the Kremlin won't like it. That's a great selling point. And here it is. I'm going to show you this. So this is the VDPFO, and there's a big to do in Kyiv, and here's the schedule on October 7th and October 8th, charity schedule for things, and there's live stream, there's outfits and everything. Okay, so with that, here is Under Deadly Skies, and here's the trailer to the video. You can stream it on, I saw that you can stream it on Apple TV, on YouTube. There's probably other places, but and I'm going to show you the trailer. I'm pretty sure that they're going to be fine with me showing the entire trailer just to show you what's in it, okay? Here we go.
For a long time, Vladimir Putin has been waging war on Europe. His invasion of Ukraine is just one part of that wider war. Armoured cars and tanks and guns are sent to Ukraine. But he deploys more insidious weapons too.
Yeah, I think that was white phosphorus. If it's not, he has used white phosphorus, which is like it just gets on you and just burns you to a crisp, and there's really no way of getting any relief from it. And people have committed suicide to avoid the pain of the white phosphorus. It's that's brutal.
Only military facilities are being destroyed.
Every day, the Russian propaganda machine goes into overdrive to deny its crimes, to rewrite history as it's taking place.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the insidious part. It's not just the invasion and that they're doing this thing, but that they're hiding behind something else and pretending like, no, we're just doing this because we're defenders. No, you're not defenders. You're the attackers. You're the aggressors.
To find out the truth, you have to get to the source, right to the front line.
Now, I edited out just a little bit of what was war scene kind of footage so that YouTube's algorithm wouldn't be bothered by it. And so if you want to see the rest of the movie, you can see the rest of the movie, but we're just doing that for YouTube.
Ну, то, что им, наверное, надо знать, вы им донесете, вы им покажете, что здесь творится.
People need to know.
Ну, они выпугивают.
This was somebody's home.
Це місто, це і було. Херсон.
Пусть бы они уже шли к себе домой, да не трогали нас.
Genocide.
It's genocide. Be fucking careful there.
Well, this is our land. We're defending it.
Okay, so that's the trailer for Under Deadly Skies. All right, let me get back to the birthday wishes. Use the great wealth of your country's natural resources on making it better to be Russian rather than on making it terrible to be your neighbor. What a great sentiment. This is one of the first somewhat positive answers that we saw here, but much of this has been driven by go back to 2014. Well, the Maidan coup. Well, it's actually the Maidan Revolution, but whatever. What precipitated that? Okay, because you, instead of being able to woo Ukraine and draw them to you because you're that awesome, have driven them to Europe because they're afraid of you because this is the kind of thing that you were going to do if you didn't get your way. They don't want to be in your orbit, but if they don't want to be in your orbit, like maybe you should be better in order to draw them into your orbit rather than just terrorize. So that was a great point. I would tell him you have not used your years wisely and don't deserve any more. I would tell him that his subordinates are lying to him about everything regarding how the special military operation is going and suggested he investigate to find out the facts before making another decision. And so that goes right to the point that I made in my very last video here. Here's why it's not true, where Ukraine lost 90,000 men. Like Putin said this the other day. He announced this, that Ukraine lost 90,000 men since June 4th, which is an astonishing figure, and I can't understand how it's true, except that his men are lying to their subordinates, or sorry, the subordinates are lying to their superiors, to their superiors, to their superiors, to Putin. And that happens in authoritarian regimes where you can't tell the truth and you must have, show me that this, so he doesn't know how many are actually out there. Frankly, I don't know either, but I'm pretty sure that that's the kind of thing that's going on in Russia right now. Now, I have mixed emotions about this. I don't know that I want to tell him that. I want him to be surprised when he loses, but that's just me. Okay, I have a few ideas as to what we can send him for birthday presents. Again, these are not probably going to be the kind of birthday presents you would want. You make your people love you, but deep down they don't love you. Yeah, that's really interesting, right? Like trying to be he wants to be respected or feared or maybe both or maybe even liked, but you can't make it mandatory for somebody to like you. I would remind him that he doesn't have much time left and to contemplate hard what his legacy will be. Any normal person would be ashamed or would be shamed by that. Well, unfortunately, I don't know that how normal a person we're dealing with, because um, like Lord Acton talked about, and talked about this in class the other day, about power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. But his next line said, great men are almost always bad men, even if they exert influence rather than authority. Like that's what he said in that letter. Like, we only remember the first line of that, but the second line, wow, that's really interesting. Great men, like people that make it to become presidents and kings and popes and whatever else. And in the context in which he was writing was about the office of the Pope. Like, okay, so great men are almost always bad men, even if they only exercise influence and not authority. And that's, yeah, I mean, okay. Anyway, let us toast to this being your last birthday, Uncle Vladoff. Your single beating heart is directly responsible. Like, this was powerful. Your single beating heart is directly responsible for so much pain and suffering. May your future heartbeats feel that pain. Like, feel the emotion driven in that line, right? So much pain and suffering. How many millions of people have been affected by your decision to go in there? I know it's NATO that caused it. It's the Ukrainian government that caused it. You have no personal responsibility, but you really do. You really, really do. We have cake for you. Please come to The Hague and collect it. That was a pretty good one. That was a little on the lighter side. Enjoy today, Vlad. It's likely to be your last birthday. Well, we don't know what will happen, but I get the sentiment. I wish Putin many more birthdays so he lives long enough to reap what he sows. That's the opposite, but it's still, these both want to have bad things happen, right? Special happy birthday. Hope everything goes according to plan, right? Good. I mean, here we're clearly mocking every time they talk about everything's according to plan. Why? Because in an authoritarian regime, you can only have according to plan because you have to show that it's all going right, even if it's not, and you can't speak truth because the dynamics of the system don't allow it. Let's hope that there's some fireworks on the Kerch Bridge again. That's, again, that same reference. Birthday present, 20th floor penthouse apartment with lots of windows, and we can see where that's going. Then we had a interesting comment here. Well, Vladimir Vladimirovich, on this auspicious occasion, we, from the right side of my couch, wish you a long and prosperous ending to your political and national wealth-stripping career. Like, and think about this. This is what he has done. He's had a long wealth-stripping career. Also, with greatest respect, I would personally like to bring representatives of the many families that you have influenced less positively and negatively affected into your hotel room in The Hague. Like, just imagine if you could bring people to visit him who have been hurt. Now, I'm sure that they'd like to close the doors and turn out the lights and let them, have their druthers. But of course, my invitation is extended to you if you visit me, and this initial proposal isn't possible, but I only have the boot of my car, a spade, a can of petrol. Like, okay, so now we're getting into threats, right? So, and then the first one was a thinly veiled threat, but yeah, you get the sentiment. Like, he's done so much damage that this is how people see him. And I don't think if he knows, I don't think he cares. But this is the kind of legitimate feeling that is expressed when bad people do bad things to other people. All right, so it's not exactly a happy birthday wish, but this, I think, expresses a reality of where people are and how they see and experience Putin on his 71st birthday. All right, tell me what you think about this. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, the coffees, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.